morning, everybody. It is 8:11 a.m. It is February 24th. Welcome to my channel. Now, the markets. The markets finally had a day where they sold off and had continued selling. Pretty crazy. And I did a live stream on Friday. Waited for those two news, the PMI and the Michigan Consumer Sentiment to come out. And I came up with a game plan that I wanted to short pops, right? And this one was painful. This one was real painful, and I'll go into it later when I go to recap. But it just basically, this month has tested me. Um, I basically work on a different execution strategy, and all month I've had a day where I got six trades in a row hit my break even, and all of them almost hit my target, my first target, right, which was like a 2 to 1. And then would rip back and hit my break even, right? And I kept saying, nope, I'm not going to change. I'm not going to change. I'm not going to change. And that kept happening all month. Now, don't get me wrong. I hit my first target on some of these, but some of them wouldn't. And then what do you know? I'm short on Friday, and I get big excursion and almost hits my first target, right? Now, whenever my trade goes 7 points in excursion, I go to break even. So it went to like, and my target I believe was at like 10 points. It went to like something like 8 and 3/4 or almost 9. Thought my target was going to get hit. It started to push back. And what I did in the meantime is I took my stop, which was at break even, and I pushed it down, I don't know, a point, something like that. Because I'm like, oh, if this gets taken out, it's going to be wrong. What do you know? It got my stop and then never would have hit my break even. And we all know what the market did after that. Sold off. It would have been my biggest trade of the year. So this just goes to show you that you got to stay consistent in these markets. It's just, you got to stay consistent, because that one time that I broke my system, it was like it would have been a monster winner, because that market just kept dumping in that 60.88 level that I was talking about on my stream. I said, wow, if we really take this out, that's going to cause, that's going to be major. And that's what happened. So, without that being said, welcome to my channel. My name is Steven Gonzalez. I use volume profile and market profile to find structure in the markets, along with supply and demand, gamma exposure levels, the most traded price of the year, the month, the week, and the previous day. And of course, my market internals. That's my baby. Just gives me the edge in the markets, right? I feel like I can read the market with the best of them, but obviously can't execute the best like I did on Friday. Okay, and that's the name of this game, is execution, right? So every day I do this, every morning. Hopefully you join me. Subscribe, set an alert, and that would mean a lot to me. Now, of course, what do I give you? I give you the recap, the market story, the leaders and laggards, the news, the economic calendar, and then we go into trade scenarios later. All right, and then if I later on put a trade on that's educational, I'll post it. All right, I owe you guys, I think, one more video. I post them on my YouTube Shorts, also my X at Gonzo719, and TikTok, Gonzo719 Trader. All right, and trying to get more interaction, which I am. I have a Discord community called the Confluence Trading. Go to my YouTube homepage and click the link and join up. I plan on going live pretty much every day. Um, so come join me. All right, come join me. Now, let's see what's moving markets. All right, we're gonna get into a lot of technical stuff today, so let's go. Let's see. Let's see who's leading the pack here. All right, that's Ethereum. Ethereum up 2.13. Bitcoin's up 1.25. Russell's up 0.73. Dow's up 0.66. ES up 0.53. Nasdaq's up 0.43. Gold's up 0.37. 10-year yield's up 0.29. Dollars flat. Crude down 0.14. 30-year bonds being sold down 1.19. Down 0.19. Silver down 0.35. The VIX down 3.08. We're at a 17.65 VIX. Okay. So we're getting a little bounce, which is interesting, right? Because we kind of close at the lows. And this is like a little bounce. Will it be a dead cat bounce? I don't know. Let's move on to see what else is moving markets here. We got Google. All right, Google's up 2%. Now, Google broke a key level, about 180, right? Really pulled back. So, up 2%. Now, we got Coinbase up 1.96%. That also pulled back to key levels. Okay. And I put that in my Discord server. So I also do every weekend. I do an analysis of the weekend and I go over like the markets and like specific stocks. So just real quick, I just wanted to show you. Like so specifically, like this is my weekend. I give statuses of all the sectors, Mag 7 stocks. So in coin in particular, I have broke lowers, 200-day moving average, broke the uptrend. And I'm saying watching here for a possible trade. So, and then I put possible trades here at the end. And then I summarize what I see in the markets here. All right, we'll get back to that. So moving on back to the watch list. Just wanted to show you that. All right, we have what do you have? Nvidia up 1.87%, Berkshire Hathaway's up 0.96%, GE up 0.84%. So market's bouncing here. AMD up 0.7. Apple was down more earlier, and it looks like they want to invest in America. So Tesla is the laggard today, down 1.70%. So I had that meteoric run, and now it's having a monster pullback. All right, look at top sector stocks. All right, so we got Salesforce reporting earnings this week. So is Snowflake. So Salesforce up 0.71, Snowflake up 0.62, Morgan Stanley up 0.62, Cat up 0.58. Home Depot reports earnings this week. And the laggard today is Uber, down 0.81. Now let's go to the granular list. The granular list is Twilio is up 3.45, Hood up 3.10, Viking Therapeutics up 2.88, Nike, I saw they got an upgrade, up 2.42, Oracle up 2.23. We'll just end with a 2 percenters. Riot up 2.10. All right, go to laggards. Woo! Western Digital down 23.15%. Wow. Palantir down 4%. Domino's Pizza down 3.97. Unity Software down 3.67. We'll end with the 2 percenters. Baba's down 3.44. I believe this is Hawaiian Electric. That's down 3.25. Tilray down 2.57. Lucid down 1. Oh, let's finish with the 1 percenters. Lucid down 1.63. Arista down 1.53. Dell down 1.36. SoundHound down 1.26. And Celsius down 1%. There you have your laggards, folks. All right, let's moving on to the guts. To what drives my decisions is the sectors. Who's leading the pack today is financials. Berkshire Hathaway is the largest holding in financials, and that's up. So JP Morgan's also a large holding. Now, communications, that's your Google, your Meta. And you got Google's up over 2%. I don't really know why yet. So we'll see. Semis up 0.56. Energy's up 0.48. Industrials up 0.42. Healthcare up 0.40. Technology up 0.37. So everything's kind of up. Nothing's down. All right. Like I said, a big move like that, right? Now, today, either we get continuation or we get the market digesting the move and we can move sideways. Right now, we just had OPEX. Trillions of dollars are off the books now. Okay. The next one is March 21st. Okay. So, moving on, we'll go right into the economic calendar and news. Okay. Start with the economic calendar. We'll go with this week. All right. So, today, nothing really crazy. Chicago Fed, Dallas Fed. I mean, those don't usually move the markets. Tuesday, what do we have here? More Fed speak, consumer confidence, API. Then Wednesday, 30-year mortgage, more Fed speak, new home sales, crude inventories, Fed speak. Thursday, durable goods, GDP growth. So with GDP, initial jobless claims, more Fed speak, pending home sales, more Fed speak. Friday is the core PCE, personal income. So that should, and you got Chicago PMI. That is the big one for this week, core PCE. Now, as far as earnings, we do have earnings to talk about. Okay, we saw Domino's Pizza, Berkshire Hathaway, right? They reported. HIMS reports after the close today. Zoom, Reality Income, which is O. Okay. Now, before the open tomorrow, Home Depot, Planet Fitness, Keurig, Dr. Pepper. What else here? Krispy Kreme donuts, American Tower, right? So that's all I'll mention for that because I'll go over these every morning. Now, but Wednesday, NVIDIA reports after close with Snowflake, Salesforce, OpenAI. So NVIDIA is all we care about really this week. That's a big one. Okay, that's the big one. So that's why I have it up here. Otherwise, if NVIDIA wasn't in here, probably wouldn't talk about earnings that much this week. All right, moving on back to economic calendar. We could talk about some news. Okay, now I talked about Apple, right? Apple plans Texas factory. Apple plans Texas factory for AI servers. 20,000 research jobs. Interesting. Warren Buffett sounds warning to Washington as Berkshire Hathaway reports record profit cash. Berkshire Hathaway on Saturday reported record annual profits and boosting its cash stake to 334.2 billion as Warren Buffett uses annual shareholder letter to caution Washington to spend money wisely and take care of those who get the short straws in life. All right. It says Nvidia's chip demand faces scrutiny as DeepSeek stirs doubts on AI spending. All right. Domino's Pizza misses quarterly same-store sales estimates. Canada and Mexico to step up fentanyl border talks this week to avoid Trump tariffs. Okay. Let's see if there's anything else here. Let's see. Nope. Let's see. CVS. What do they got? Health Solutions Company said on Friday it has cut bonuses for some employees because of its low profit levels last year as the healthcare conglomerate grapples with higher costs across its Medicare plans. Interesting. Let's see here. Stellantis, the company is recalling 27,354 Maserati vehicles in the U.S. on concerns over a rear view camera image that does not display, increasing the risk of a crash. Interesting. And there's the Nike, what I was talking about. Nike, Jeffries raises target price to 115 from 570 from 75. That's a pretty big target raise. They're saying that believing that the company's new leadership will improve product direction, which would lead to substantial earnings recovery over the coming 2 years. Snowflake Bernstein raises target price to 161 from 154, saying that the company's setup looks advantageous in the near term as key business metrics like net revenue retention and current remaining performance obligation are stabilizing. All right. And the juice didn't have much. Now, only thing that I saw was this Apple under threat from Trump tariffs will add 20,000 U.S. jobs. So I guess it's pushing Apple to come and do stuff in America. All right. Now I think we can get into daily charts here. Let's go to dailies, and we got some stuff to talk about. All right. All right. Let me just read my summary here of what I said over the weekend. Right. It looks like I might have called the blow off top last week because that's what I said last week. I said, but I'm not claiming I predicted it. I just said that it feels like it could happen. It did happen. Now I said, here's my current market analysis. S&P 500 finally had a day of selling with follow through. Important levels that were support are the 50 MA and year-to-date anchor VWAP. From the swing low on 113/2025, we have retraced 38.2% of the move, and we'll look at that in a second. This also roughly around SPX 6000. In futures, we fell from the VPOC year 6132 and went through the high volume node of 6089. I spoke about this live. If we broke this, then markets should fall. It looks like we have some sector rotation happening. XLV, healthcare, utilities, and staples look solid. QQQ is relatively stronger and only breached the 20-day simple moving average. Nvidia earnings are this week, and this should impact markets. Should be an interesting week. I honestly have to see how this week transpires. This market likes dips. Will this time be different? So that's my little report from the weekend. All right. Now, on to dailies. All right, let's look at the daily charts together. All right, so here's my fib here. That's the swing low, okay, right here. Happens to be also a trend line that runs through here, okay. Now, if we zoom in here, you can see from this swing low up to this high, we retraced to this 38.2% Fibonacci, right? But what also is here? 50-day moving average, okay. 50-day, oh wait, hold on a second. Hold on one second. I just want to get rid of something here. Okay. I just want to make sure I always have certain settings on here. Okay. So, interesting of what we did. Okay. In the grand scheme. So, like I said, we retraced here. We have the 50-day moving average, anchor VWAP for this year. We went basically down to the previous week's lows. So these were the lows of the previous week. I believe right here, right? And we just came back and retraced back to those weekly lows. So you have weeklies, anchor VWAP for this year, and you have the 50-day moving average right here. So that's where we came back to. So we didn't even come back 50% yet of this move. Right? We did break this trend line. I can get rid of that. So I'm going to get rid of this because I don't want to see this on my screen, but I just wanted to put it there for illustration purposes. Okay. Now, if we do go back, you can see there's a trend line right there. Right? That lines up kind of like the 100-day moving average. Okay. Do we come down there? I don't know. But that's a look at the SPY. Now, where are we at now? We close at basically 600, right? Close at 600 and we are at 603. So we are right here in the lower third of the session of Friday. Okay, at the lower third of the session. Now, let's look at futures. All right, so this is futures. Okay, now you can see in futures we also came down to the anchored VWAP for the year. Okay, and let's see here. This is last week's lows right there, which is actually last week. This is the previous week's. So you can see in futures we didn't even hit last week's lows. That's the 100-day moving average right here. Okay, so we're kind of battling the 50. You can see this where we're popping up here. Okay, now I'll leave you with this one thing because we talk about the S&P 500. This is the SPX. Okay, SPX. Look at this 6,000 level. Bounced here, and we hit the 50-day moving average and last week's lows. Okay, that's the SPX. So That 6,000 level has been support one, two, now three times. Will it break? I don't know. I just wanted to show you guys that. Okay. Now this is the cues. Here's the cues. All right. Now zoom in. Did you see some levels here? Here's last week's range, the previous weeks, not the week we just had, the week before that, right? So what did we do? Came up, tried to break that, couldn't, failed, went back, didn't even go back. This is the cues, right? Relatively stronger. Didn't go back to last week's lows. Didn't even hit the 50-day moving average. Did not hit the year-to-date anchor VWAP. Okay, they broke a like secondary trend line, but here is a trend line that they did not touch this trend line. Okay, now if we zoom out and we go to this swing low, it still did go to about 38.2% of the move. Okay, so retrace similar to the SPY. It's just that as far as like levels go, it didn't go down to its anchored VWAP to last week's lows. All right, now where is it now? 528.70. 528.70 at the lower third, right, of the Friday session. Okay, let's look at futures. Okay, so the futures, Nasdaq almost hit the year-to-date anchor VWAP, pushed off. Now in futures, it did hit the 50-day moving average. Okay, and it's like battling the 20 right now. Okay, and you can see we're still in this muck. Now in the Nasdaq, we actually are trading at the most traded price of this year. So that's a high volume composite node, and I'll show you that later. Okay, I'll show you that later. So let's move back, and we're going to go into the triple-headed monster here. That's your bond market. Now, what did I say? I keep on saying this every week. Okay, they finally made that swing high here. Tried to push here, right? Hit that year-to-date anchor VWAP. Now it's testing this 4.4 yield. This is what I said has to break. Okay, this has to break. Now, could we push up, make a swing high, and then go through? Sure. Right? 100-day moving average here. Just have to watch this bond market. Right? You can see, you know, that 4.4. Now, if you break that, there's not good structure here. You're going to go down to 4.1 yield. Okay? Just have to see. Just have to see. Now, let's look at that dollar. All right. So that dollar is in this wedge compressing, right? Really compressing. And again, this typically, like I said, I'm not super into patterns, but typically this should be a bullish move if it goes up. Okay, hitting the 100-day moving average. The dollar is in a downtrend. We just have to see what happens with the dollar. Okay, now the VIX, the fear gauge went up. It went up. Okay, this is what it did. Now, why is that not showing today? Oh, wait, hold on. Sorry. That's why. Okay, so on Friday, we all the way up to 19 VIX. We're at a 17.71 VIX. And the volume's pretty good today. So I'm expecting some nice ranges today. So, number 16 VIX is a 1% plus or minus expected move in the S&P 500. So 17, almost 18. Should have nice ranges today. So, looking forward to that. Now, we're going to move on and go to the main event here and talk about key levels. Just give me a sec here while I bring this down. Alrighty. We're going to look at what we did here. Alright. Actually, let's make this a little smaller So we get that. There we go. Okay. Now we're going to go over what I don't want to go over is that trade, right? And this is all live. Actually, I recorded it. Not a fan of watching that back too much, but let's go over it. What did we do? Okay. Now, on Friday, I mentioned this 12-hour supply right here around 61.41. Right here. I said that's a major level. And what happened was in the overnight is really where it got the reaction from that right there. Okay. This is overnight right here. Really struggled with that level. All right. Then we had this monster 61.32, 61.35, whatever you want to call it, level. It has been the monster level, most traded price of the rolling year this year. Okay. What did it do? We tried to go lower, came back up, consolidated in the overnight. What did we do? We ripped through that level. Okay. Now, right? That's number one, right? We took out the previous day's lows right here. Where did we go? Right? We went to the 6089 composite high volume node, which on live on my stream, I said that this should hold the market, this should pause the market, but if we cut through this, that is a big sign of weakness. All right? So I wanted to short a pullback. The internals were weak, and I waited. And once it played with this low, you can see it right here, previous lows. That's where I got interested. I took one short, and I got stopped. I took another short. That's where this move happened. Went down here, and then went all the way up and never touched my entry. And then once we cut through this major level, it was just boom, 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 continued selling. And we also went through the month-to-date VWAP. So monster, 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 right? And I had an entry with no risk, and it would never have been touched. And I would have just trailed all the way down. But that's a lesson learned, right? I guess that had to happen. So that's what happened on the markets on Friday. Okay. Now, what do we need to look at today? Okay. Now, always when you get a big move, first thing you want to look at is that midpoint of the session, the 50% retracement. All right. We have a lot of single prints. A lot of single prints. Let's bring in Alfie here. All right. A lot of single prints. That's the elephant. It's the reverse elephant, the inverse elephant on the stick today. Okay. So a lot of emotional selling here. Those single prints represent emotion. Okay. So first level we can talk about 60.79. That's the 50% retracement. Lines up with month-to-date VWAP. So that bears want to defend that. Bulls want to break it. Almost lines up with the 60.89 high volume node. If we stay under there, we could balance, we could fall and roll over. We go back up over this level, the 60.89, we could start making our way back. Okay. If we look at the composite profile, you can see how much value is here. And then boom, boom, big volume. Now, one thing here, this is pretty bearish when the most traded price is at the lows and it closed at the lows. So in futures, if you were short here and we opened on Sunday and pushed up You might have had to cover, right? That's what I would say is this session. Okay. Now in profile, most traded price of the week is still up here. That could definitely move. Okay. Now, however, how this works is you have value up here, and price went all the way down here and now is here. Okay. Value, price needs to bring value down, right, in order to like confirm a move. So you want to see that most traded price of the week move down here to kind of confirm maybe a move lower. Okay. Now, if price can't pull value down, price returns to value. That's how it works. So you really need to establish acceptance down here, because if you can't, the market has a bunch of single prints and poor structure to rip back up. Don't know if that happens. I'm just saying that that's how you have to look at it, or that's how I look at it. Okay. So as far as the profile, let's hold on a second. Let me move this little. As far as the profile, okay, let's look at where we're at. So you have highs here, lows here, most traded price of Friday here. Right, price is here. Okay. Now, there's a lot of stuff to look at today. Okay. So let's look at inventory. You opened here. This is the only short activity overnight. This is the long activity. You're about 80% net long, and you're at kind of the top of the session, right? So that's a little feather in the cap for maybe fading this. All right. Now we do have a poor high right here. Okay. That just means longs had poor location here. And generally, you correct that poor high and make some excess. Okay. However, we have a composite high volume node here. Had it like 60, 65, I believe, and that's holding the market. That's why I have this level on my chart. I still have this level on my chart. Okay. So you kind of can see the profile here. It's not exactly balanced. It's kind of skewed to the upside a little bit. Right? And you have to take note of this level. A lot of levels today. Okay. 60-60 is the most traded price of the overnight. Okay. So I'm going to assume longs are in here. That's 60-60. Got your high volume node. You got your poor high. So if we come back through, like let's say we just make a move up into these single prints, get resistance. Yeah, you come through to 60-60. Yeah, these longs, whoever's long from here and here, are going to have to cover. Okay, they're going to liquidate their positions. As far as anything else, we do have a confluence low here. Okay, so there's so many levels to talk about today. So right here is the close. Lines up with the overnight low. Lines up with the most traded price right here, and the Friday lows. So if you come back through here, you can really take this market down to the next high volume node, which I believe is like 59.88. 59.88, I believe. So I don't know. We'll have to see. Like I said, today has a very high possibility of moving sideways. Because anytime you get a real big move like that, sometimes the market just needs to digest it. It doesn't mean you can't get continuation. It just means that sometimes it's such a big move, you stay in a range, you bring that most traded price of the week down. Okay? All right, let's get into scenarios here. There's just a lot of levels today. Oh, by the way, this was our market profile and volume profile. And we're going to get into scenarios now. Hopefully anybody was watching that live stream, I'm telling you, very frustrating when my system is telling me to short. And at the time I said I didn't know if we'd break that big level, like this big level here. I didn't know, right? But I shorted it based on how weak the market was telling me under the hood, right? These market internals, right? So this was just red all day. And whenever this just continues to be like you don't want to long this. Okay? And it really is it sucks that your analysis is right. Your entry never gets hit and it rolls over big time, right? So I'm never going to steer you wrong with analysis. And that's one thing I just want to talk about. I know I'll do the scenarios. One thing I want to talk about is if you join a community server, I'm not about really giving you trade here, trade there, because it's my system, right? But just the way I look at the markets and read the markets is kind of what I want to show. Is I think the high point, because the market doesn't ever fool me really unless there's a news catalyst. And if you join live, you'll just see it. You'll see it. I'll be like, this was what probably should happen. And remember, everything's in a snapshot. Things can change, but I'm generally always correct on the reading of what the market should. Doesn't always mean you can execute, but it genuinely never surprised, right? All right, I'm gonna put this up again so we can get into the scenarios, and we're gonna start with the bear side. All right, so I talked about this 6088 level. You want to stay below that. Week to date, month to date VWAP is right here. Okay, and your 50% retracement 6079 is right here. So this area, bears want to defend that. Okay, now you got single prints in here. So apologize, my allergies are bothering me a little bit. All right, so what do we want to see here? Okay, and you got this high volume node here holding the market. So a lot of levels for the bears. All right, so number one, remember I talked about this inventory, 85% net long. All I want to see is if we push up into these single prints. Remember, this is emotional selling. Now, these areas should not be resistant. There's no support or resistance. There's no resistance here. There's like very thin volume. It's one-way traffic. It's emotional selling. If, though, they are resistant like this, and you come through this 60-60 most traded price of the overnight, I would expect us to at least test this area. And possibly last week's lows, which is Friday's lows. If that cracks, right, we could see us, there's a demand here, but we could see us go down to this 59.88 level. Okay. Now, number two, you can even move up even a little bit more into these single prints, hit the month to date VWAP, hit the 50% retracement, maybe even kiss this level and then start the roll as well. I don't know if you go this far then. You might just go down to here, build out value. Okay. Now, on the long side, you do have demand right down here. Okay. This is going to be a tougher one to just want to be happy to go long. Okay. So down here, you have demand. You have that confluence low that I talked about. Okay. So you might have that early correction happen. Whoop. Come down here. This is the close from Friday. Come down here. What do we do? Is the market weak? Is the market like in parity? Now, if we have in parity internals, which means that there's no winner, no loser, I might look for a bear trap, break Friday's lows, and then try to go long, targeting up here, overnight highs, and see if I can push up into this level. Okay. Now, I'll be very cautious with this, but my internals will tell me what's under the hood, right? If I don't know, oh, wait a minute, this market's not that weak, I won't have a problem going long. Okay. Now, what else could be in the cards, right? We know we have this level, this poor high in the overnight, but we have this to deal with. That's what I'm saying. Long up here is the market will be telling you strength if you can cut through all that. So what you could possibly see is a push up. All right, let's say we hit the monthly AVWAP, but let's say we start holding and holding and holding. Well, maybe we test this level. Right, I'm not really giving bulls to just go all the way back here. Now remember, the data is not. I don't know the data yet on the open. All right, so I'm not crazy about longs up in here. I'm just not. So this is more my play down here. Maybe even breaking this to this demand zone, and the market's like getting too over its skis, and maybe you come back into here. Okay, that's about it for the ES. Let's go to NASDAQ. All right, let's go to the NASDAQ. Lots of single prints. Okay, and let's just see what structure looks like. All right, now right off the bat, you got a confluence low here, just like in the ES. All right, so the overnight lows match up with the close and the Friday lows, last week's lows, which would be here. Okay, now you can see we look at the 50% retracement, that is 219.25, or just call it 219.25. There's your 50% retracement. Now, here's the monster level. Okay, 217.90. This price is the most traded price of this year, and there's no surprise that the market is literally on it to the tick. That is holding this market in check right now. Okay, ton of single prints above here. Okay, but what are you doing? You're consolidating here, accepting the lower prices. All right, so this 217.90 becomes the bull bear line. Bears want to stay below it, bulls want to stay above it. All right, you can see the volume here. Okay, so to me, it's kind of simple in the NASDAQ. The month-to-day VWAP is 218.11. It's right here and lines up with this, right? Overnight high, 217.90, the most traded price, and then you have this. So it's all about this overnight session. Can we stay in this range? Possible too. Okay, so to me, it's a little more straightforward than looking at the NASDAQ right now, because it's like all about the overnight. It's all about the overnight. Okay, so very easy. We're going to get right into the NASDAQ scenarios. Okay, All right, let's get right into it. It's pretty simple. Start the bear side. So it's right here. Like I said, most traded price of the year, overnight highs, month to date VWAP, all up in here. Okay, price is right there. It's literally right there. All right. Bulls want to break it, bears want to defend it, and down here we have our confluence low. It's the most traded price Friday. Close the overnight lows and Friday's lows, which happens to be last week's lows. Okay, bears want to break it, bulls want to defend, but this is the bear case, right? So any kind of push up and can't find acceptance come through, and you have the most traded price lead overnight. It looks like it's like 217.75. You have thin volume here. I would think we go down and test the overnight lows, Friday's lows. If you break that, you do have the most traded price of the month, 216 here. That could hold markets. If it does not, you can rip through these single prints and go down to 214. Don't know if that happens. Okay. But that's the scenario. Okay. Now, as far as the bull side, okay, it's just the inverse, right? Confluence low, demand zone, right? 217.90, the most traded price of the year, month to date VWAP, right here. Okay. Like I said, if we do this, boop, and start to hold, can break through these single prints and go all the way up to the 50% retracement, right? And that 50% retracement almost lines up with Thursday's lows. See a previous low. Okay. I don't know if we go all the way back up there. I mean, that would be nuts. Okay. That's one. Now, we know that this level could be resistance. And if we get a little tiny correction, come down into this confluence low, even get a bear trap here, maybe go whoop, lower high, then you can probably think that you're probably going to go at least to here. I don't know then if you do this, right? And it's all about the data. It's all about the data. It's all about how do we open? Who's pushing the markets? Which sector is the strongest? Right? And that will drive what I do. All right? All right. Well, that does it, folks. I was a little long-winded today. I'm probably sniffing in your ear. Apologize for that. All right. Now, if you enjoy my content, please smash that like button. That would mean a lot to me. Right? And join me every morning. Just join your boy. Give you a lowdown. Market news, leaders, laggards, trade scenarios, the whole shebang. All right. And of course, I will be live in my community server, my community Discord server, Confluence Trading. Come join me and just see how I look at the markets, right? I asked one of the community members, like, is my stuff difficult? And he was like, yes. But once you get through that, he's like, oh my God, it changed the way I trade, the way I look at the markets. I'm like, cool. That's the whole thing that I care about, is going, look at these things, and it just tells us the story. Instead of saying, oh, my moving average just crossed. All right. But like, what's under the hood? What's going under the market, right? You want to know if the market's capable of going higher, right? Or capable of going lower. Otherwise, then you're blind. For me, I'd be blind. So, anyway, join me today. Everybody have a great day. Stay green. No trades to trade. Be patient. Today's Monday. We should have nice range today. All right. Good luck, everybody. See you guys tomorrow or in my community server.